You're welcome to my comprehensive guide on how to answer WAEC questions on idioms. I am Rameso Adeyemo with the brand name English with RMG. And this video is proudly brought to you by IOTA Virtual Learning Platform. This video is the part 3 of the series on idioms, and it is also the final part. So if you are yet to watch the 1 and 2, you can go to the description now to click on the link to watch that first. If you don't mind, however, you can continue from here because this part is basically solving the practical questions from the past questions. So, are you ready? Get your materials and let's begin. So here we have the last strategy, which is strategy 6, and it is basically practice with the past questions. So what I mean by this is that you need to expose yourself to that environment before you finally get your questions on your examination day. Practicing the past questions will assist you to understand the structure better, to understand how to use all the strategies that I've explained earlier better. Do you understand? So it is crucial for you to practice your past questions consistently. So now let's look at the first question that we are going to use, question 21 from 2024 WAEC past question. That is the latest question as at this moment. So we have Ojo was cautioned not to jangle the old man's nerve. So this means that Ojo was cautioned not to what? Dash. So let me underline the idiom in this expression. Jangle the old man's nerve. So what does this mean? Let's look at it. I think the common expression is don't get on my nerve. So when you talk about don't get on my nerve, it means that don't get me angry. Do you understand? We said from the strategies that there are some idioms that even the context cannot give you enough clue because there are going to be tricky options in the options as well. Do you understand? So now let's consider the options. A. Harass the old man. B. Annoy the old man. C. Disturb the old man. D. Tease the old man. So if you are not familiar with this meaning earlier, you might find it difficult. Does it mean to harass, to disturb, or to tease? But it actually mean not to annoy the old man. I want to believe that you are familiar with the common expression, which is don't get on my nerve. Do you understand? So answer is what? B. Annoy the old man. So they only tricked it a little bit. It's an examination, so it is meant to test how smart you are. So they only trick it a little bit to now say jangle the old man's nerve. So now let's move on to the next question, which is question 25 from 2024 WAEC question. So we have the new shopping plaza is easy on the eye. So this means that the shopping plaza is what? Dash. So when we talk about the eye, common sense, when you are saying that something is, easy on the eye, that means it's attractive. Do you understand? It's pleasing to watch. It's pleasing to see. Perhaps, the building, the structure has some beautiful structure that made it very attractive, when we try to put it into perspective of our common sense. So let's look at the options. A, grandiose. B, cool. C, attractive. D, expensive. So which of these is going to be our answer? It can be cool. You can say it's cool, but that's not apt to say that, okay, something is pleasing to see. Do you understand? So the apt option here is what? Option C, attractive. When something is pleasing to eye, it has nothing to do with the cost. So it cannot be expensive. Do you understand? So let's move on to the next question. Question 28 from the same 2024 WAEC past question. So we have Willie has been under the weather for some days. This means that Willie has been dash. So what is the idiom here? The idiom here is under the weather. So what does it mean to be under the weather? Let's consider the options as well so that we can consider all the context before we can know what our answer is. Here, I want to assume you don't even know what being under the weather is. And that is why I say that one of the best way to prepare for this section is to also read wide. Practice your past question just like we are doing now so that you can get the answer correctly. So A, sad, B, ill, C, in the rain, D, outside the country. So let's start from D. Outside the country is not even, I would say it's totally out. And the rain is also totally out. So we are left with sad and ill. So being under the weather actually means to be ill. So I could say, I'm sorry, I'm under the weather. I won't be able to come to work today. So that means I'm ill. I won't be able to come to work today. Do you understand? But if you're not aware of the meaning of being under the weather, you might want to confuse sad as a possible option as well. You might want to say, oh, maybe it means that he is sad. But what it actually means is that what he is ill. It says Willie is under the weather means Willie is ill. Now let's move on to the next question, which is question 21 from 2023 WAEC past question. So we have revealing that information will cut the ground from under my feet. This means that it will dash. So what is the idiom in this expression? The idiom here is cut the ground from under my feet. We know that idioms do not have literal meaning. We've said that from the part 1 and 2. So now we are not saying that someone is going to actually dig the ground under one's feet. So what does this mean? Revealing that information will cut the ground under my feet. So what could this probably mean? Does it mean that he's going to expose my secrets? Do you understand? Or it's going to be embarrassing for me? Do you understand? But for us to get what it could probably mean, let's go to the options to see what we have there so that we can um, know the possible meaning. So, A, expose my plans. B, ruin my plans. C, support my plans. D, promote my plans. So, if we look at this sentence, it appears more like a negative sentence that says, revealing that information is going to do something negative. Do you understand? So our answer cannot be support my plans because that's a positive expression or promote my plans. So C and D cannot be our answer. Now we are left with A and B. Expose my plans or ruin my plans. So to cut the ground under one's feet actually means that to withdraw someone's support from someone. So let's assume that maybe your parents or your sponsor say that they are no longer going to pay your school fees. That could ruin your plans of going to school. Maybe you want to school abroad. Do you understand? So it means to ruin my plans, not really to expose my plan. Because when you withdraw the support, it could ruin one's plans. Do you understand? I think you understand why our answer is not A, C, or D, and why our answer is what? B. Now let's go to the next question, which is question 23 from 2023 WAEC past question. So we have this action effectively puts the markers on the project. This means that the project will dash. So what does it mean to put the markers on the project? The idiom here is what? Put the markers on the project. So I've underlined it here. Put the markers on the project. So what does this mean? It actually means that to do something that would jeopardize the plan for the project. Do you understand? That is to do something that would not totally ruin the project, but that would kind of jinx the project. So let's look at the options. A, take off soon. B, not be executed. C, delayed. D, not begin well. So when we say that something is going to put the markers on something, we are saying that it's going to get it delayed. It does not mean that take off soon. If we say take off soon, that's a positive expression. Not be executed means that we are no longer doing this. So, but put the markers on something does not mean that it's no longer going to be done. It only means that something is going to jinx the process or the final product. Do you understand? And it does not also mean not begin well. It means that this is going to delay the project, perhaps the process. You must have seen some abandoned projects around, maybe uh, a road that was under construction but was later abandoned. Do you understand? In Nigeria here? So you can say, oh, the contractors have put the markers on this project. Do you understand? So now we have practice question 5, question 26 from 2023 WAEC questions. So we have, be careful of what you say. There are no flies on the bus. This means that the bus is dash. So what does it mean to say that there are no flies on someone? So it means that but let's go to, before I tell you the meaning, let's go to the options. Perhaps we could decipher the meaning from considering the context and the options that are available. Do you understand? So we have option A, neat. So if we say that there are no flies on the bus, we are not talking about literal expression. So it is not actually the flies that you know. B, gullible. So when someone is gullible, I don't think you need to be careful what you say around them because it means that they are easily deceived. So C, smart. When someone is smart, you need to be careful because your words could be misinterpreted. And also D, strict. When someone is strict as well, you need to be careful with your words because whatever you say could actually attract punishment if they are in authority to give punishment. Do you understand? So we are left with option C or D. So what does it really mean to say that there are no flies on the bus? This is why it is crucial to have background knowledge at least to some extent because yeah, after doing your analysis, you might be stuck between smart and strict. But our answer is actually smart because that's the meaning of saying there are no flies on someone. If you say there are no flies on someone, you're saying that the person is smart, alert. And in this context, you are saying that the boss could misinterpret some of your words if you are not careful of the way you use your words around her. Do you understand? So now let's move on to practice question 7. And here we are going to use the strategy 4, which is considering the conjunctions. Only teachers could afford a car. What does this mean? Only is one of those word class that is very, very mobile. Only we could actually say teachers only could afford a car. We could say teachers could afford a car only. We could say teachers could only afford a car. And we could also say teachers could afford only a car. And as we move only from the beginning to the middle to the end, it can as well affect the meaning of that expression. Do you understand? So this sentence is set to test how well you can manipulate meanings of expressions when they are conjunction or the adverbials in that expression is changed, when their position in that expression is changed from one position to another position. So, but what does only teachers could afford a car means? It means that teachers, amongst other profession professionals, such as maybe engineer, lawyers, doctors, according to this sentence, it is only teachers that could afford a car. So which of the options interpret this sentence this way? Let's check. A. Teachers could afford a car and nothing else. This after a car, teacher would not be able to afford any other thing. We were not told that in the sentence. Do you understand? The emphasis is on being able to afford a car. B. Teachers and nobody else could afford a car. That is, besides teacher, no other person can afford a car. C. Teachers and others could afford a car. That is, not only teachers. But the sentence is saying only teachers. So our answer cannot be C. Now, D. Few teachers could afford a car. That is not also what the sentence has said. So our answer is what? B. Teachers and nobody else could afford a car. That's another way to say that only teachers could afford a car. Do you understand from the analysis? Well, our answer cannot be A, C, or D, and why our answer is what? B. So we've come to the end of this lesson, and I hope you enjoy it. So don't forget the tips. Consider the context. Relate it to real life experiences. Activate your logicality. Very important. Also, number 4 tip and strategy, pay attention to the tenses and the conjunctions. Then we have pay attention to the tenses as well. Do you understand? Then we have last one, practice with the past question, which is crucial, very important. Again, this is English with RMG. I hope you enjoyed this lesson from the beginning to the end. Let me know what you feel about this lesson, and if you have any question, put it in the comment below. I will be there to answer. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.